on the screen? Right? Awesome.
You're here, right?
Hey, that's it. Okay. So fast track, just like it says, it's super simple. As a fast tracker, in your first 90 days, if you promote to director, we're going to talk about what that means. But in your first 90 days, if you promote to director, you're going to earn $500 cash. And then if you maintain your director status for the next 3 months, then you get another $500 cash. So just $1,000, boom. And then if you promote a director on your team, so that means you promote to director within your first 6 months, then you're going to get another $1,000. So you have the opportunity in your first 6 months to earn an additional $2,000 bonus. So that's a pretty awesome and exciting thing. Anybody think that's exciting?
Woo woo!
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting. So that's what you guys have an opportunity for fast track if you are within your first 90 days. Okay? And if that's something that you know you want to do and you've already indicated to it, and we know that, that's great. If you know you want to do it and you haven't told us, please tell us so we can help you do that. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is talk about one of the reasons that a lot of people want to promote is, of course, money. So we're going to talk about money and how you can earn money. Thank you, Trina. So let's go ahead and talk about the career plan. We're going to use this Grow With Us sheet here that Trina has. And so all of you, when you first start, everybody is a consultant, okay? And when you add one, and at a consultant level, you get a, you can earn at the most 25% of everything you sell, okay, when you first start. When you have sold 15,000, it could technically be 27%, but we'll go with the 25%, okay, because that's how all this paperwork works. So we're going to talk about the income growth examples that you're going to see right here, okay? So as a senior consultant, and please excuse Gracie, she's even trying to join this meeting.
Gracie thinks she's part of the Pampered Chef family.
Yes, she does. Gracie thinks she's part of the Pampered Chef family. That's very true. She about crawls on Linda's lap at every meeting. It's true. She does.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Gracie's a chocolate lab, and she's standing right outside my doors barking. Okay, so you're senior consultant. That means that you have shared the business with one person, and they've joined you in Pampered Chef. Okay, so what happens as a senior consultant? You're going to get, as you can see here, a 6.3% more commission than if you were doing it alone. So if your normal commission was $414, you're going to get an override of $26, and it makes it a total of $440, which is 6.3% more commission than if you were alone selling. Does that make sense, guys? Are you following that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So then if you want to become a team leader, you're actually adding 2 people to your team, okay? So you shared with Pat and with Chris, all right? And so then you're going to earn even more. So you don't want to leave money on the table. Your goal should be to step up in the career plan. And as a team leader, to get paid as a team leader, you're going to have to, as a team, sell, it's $2,500, okay? And so that's you and your 2 team members. And as a team leader, you have the commitment to sell. You don't have to, but if you want to have that level, then you have to sell $750 of that minimum, which is just really good training. So if, Trina, can you shrink that just a little bit or move it over a little bit so that people can see, at least on my screen, I see faces instead of seeing the example with the money.
Oh, gotcha.
And
I think you can move the faces around also.
Okay, great. So,
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Um,
I can't move the faces.
Can you be a team leader if So say I get my first recruit, and then my recruit gets a recruit. Does that make me a team leader?
When you have 2 people on your team?
So like she's
Well,
saying like, okay, so maybe Jen recruited Chris, but Chris recruited Pat.
Oh,
Yes.
I believe that, you know what?
My
Like, would I
understanding is
have
that,
to have,
my understanding is
would I
yes.
have to have,
That's mine
Okay.
too. It's yes. They have changed some things. I'm going to tell you at the moment, the answer is yes. And if I find out that that's different, I will let you know. But, I'm sorry.
so it won't matter if they're my actual recruits. As long as I had 2 people on the team or, below me, that would make me
Yeah,
a team
because
leader.
like a long time ago, it used to be like they used to do something called lines, and so like you needed like 2 active lines. But my understanding is it's just 2 active members.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I do apologize. I have been with the company long enough and seen enough changes to our career plan that when you ask me that, I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we in? So it's true. So the example here, guys, is that that when you have that commission of 414, it's the same commission, you're actually going to get an override of $60, which is 14.5% more, and earn $474. Okay? So that's just the first 2 levels before you get to directorship. And, all right. Sorry, everything fell on the floor on me. So, gotta get back to my place.
This is Angela. Can you just clarify how the time period for these sales? Are you talking about per month or
Yes.
per 2? Go ahead.
Per month. It's per month.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Good question.
It is, and you guys, if you have questions, jump in. Please, please, please. This needs to be interactive so you learn more. So, okay. So, okay. So as a director, you can bump it up. If you look to the next one, Trina's already awesome, got it set up for us. So as a director, you have to have 5 people on your team, okay? And so that's showing an example here. And your normal commission of 414, you're getting a 3% override of all of your team sales, which has to be a minimum of 5,000. That's $150. Then you have 5 active people, $50. So you're getting a total of $614 as a director, selling the same amount as you did as a consultant, that 414, and that's a 48% more commission alone at that level. How many of you would like to do the same amount of work, go out, do the same number of shows, and get 48% more commission because you shared with other people?
Yes. Yes, please.
Yes, please. I like that. I like that. So, so then they have the example to the side there that says Jen builds her team. She holds 2 shows a week, and she has $3,600 in personal sales, and she's building her personal team to 14 people. Her commission on that $3,600 is $864, and then a 3% override on $10,400. That's what they're saying that the 14 people sold together, and an activity bonus of $140, $10 each person. So she's getting $1,316, which is 114% more than the minimum.
Wow.
I mean, I will say, like, when I didn't, hitting senior consultant team leader, I didn't notice a whole lot on my paycheck. Hitting director, I noticed.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's when you start to notice.
That's when you're like, whoa, like that was 2 or 3 shows I didn't have to do. You know what I mean? Like, that's fantastic.
So Trina, so the next thing we were going to talk about, just to give you guys a little overview, did you notice a difference when you became an advanced director, Trina?
Okay, yes, and you know, it's kind of funny. I was like all worried, like, I'm like, but I'm not going to have an activity bonus on Ansible anymore. Like, I don't know if it'll really, and Tamara was like, you're going to notice. It's significant. It's not significant. It's significant. it's significant. It makes a big difference. And I mean, just even something to piggyback on that. You guys will notice just even from me welcoming people into our team, I didn't just hit advanced director and say, okay, you guys, now you guys do the recruiting. Like the more people that you have and the larger your organizational sales that you can get, we've talked about, like last month we hit the goal of hitting 40,000, like huge. And it's like, hey, that does pad my paycheck, but it's padding yours, which is really fun to watch you guys post that. It was really fun to watch you guys be like, how close are we? We're almost there. Where are we now? And it was really fun to be able to do that. But yeah, there's definitely a significant increase. Cambridge pays us handsomely.
They do. Somebody's trying, 608 is trying to talk.
I think it's Angela.
Sorry, I just actually muted. Maybe I was unmuted for a second.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, boy. We can hear you now.
Guys,
Sounds like your phone came.
sorry, that's going to ring for just a minute. And then when my husband walks back in the house, I need to tell him to call his sister. So, well, we have some major family medical issues happening. So he does need to talk to Kathy about that. So, okay. So it really makes a difference, not only when you promote to director, but when you step up to advanced or senior or above. And just a little FYI, when you move to advanced, instead of getting that 3% override, you're actually getting 4% override. And it makes a boatload of difference in your commission. A boatload.
I mean, it sounds like whatever, it's just 1%, but because like maybe you didn't notice as big of like 1%, like what, 1% on senior consultant was what, like $16 or something, or $26. You don't notice that, but by the time you got to advanced, it's an extra percent off like 40,000 or 20,000 or 12,000. You know what I mean? It's over like a much larger number. But yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's huge. So I'm going to talk to you about an example. I want you to just kind of close your eyes and I want you to listen and imagine that you're in this place and as a director and just kind of think about how would this make a difference in my family, okay? So imagine that today you are the director of a team with average monthly sales of $10,000, okay? What would your 3% monthly override be? Anybody? What would that 3% override be of $10,000?
I think it's like right here. That's gonna be like $300, right?
Yes, it is $300. So now remember, that is only the override income, okay? It does not include the income from your personal sales or the activity bonuses. Now, imagine that you begin working with those on your team who want more. Those who want to promote to director. Your consultants who want more begin to recruit. So your team grows. Does that sound good? Woohoo! Here's a question for you. While your consultants are recruiting, what should you be doing? Hey, Aaron. Sorry, thought I could catch them while they were going outside.
Okay.
So what should you guys be doing?
Still selling? Still recruiting?
Yeah, somebody said it. What did you say?
We should always continue recruiting, and if our direct sign-ups or the person that we directly promoted isn't active or isn't engaged, we want to be checking in with them or the people that are downline from them as well.
Exactly. You want to be really working with your team all the way down. Yes, that is correct. But recruiting is the answer I was looking for. Yes, you want to keep selling. Absolutely, keep selling. Keep doing those shows so that you're exposing yourself to a bunch of different people and keep recruiting. Okay. So, and here's why we want to keep recruiting. So, recruit side by side with your team. One reason why is that you want to be the example. You want them to see you recruiting, and when you recruit new people, you bring an energy to your team that isn't there when you're not recruiting, okay? So you should be matching their efforts. That way your personal team is growing side by side with their new team. Does that make sense to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now your future leader has 5 new consultants on her team or his who are selling a minimum of $5,000. They promote their own director level team. Woohoo! Yay! Which means that you become an advanced director. But because you have been building your team side by side with them, your base team sales will stay the same when their team promotes. So now your personal team is still selling that $10,000, and the new team is selling $5,000 for a total of $15,000. That's $15,000 organizational sales at what percentage? 4%, yes, not 3%, for a total of $600 override. Okay, so we've doubled your override. So just by promoting a director on your team, you doubled your override. And that doesn't even take into account what you're selling or your activity bonuses. How does that sound, guys? Woo! Okay. So now imagine that there is not just one new director, but 2 or 3 or more. How fast could your income grow? It gives you goosebumps, right?
Or as Jean would say, ooh, goosies.
Yes. That's why you want to continue to move up the career plan. If you don't, you are leaving money on the table. So, why do you want to be a director? I've just talked about, why we believe that director is a good choice. We talked about the benefits in our first 40 minutes. And so now I want to know why you think and why you want to be a director with a Pampered Chef. What would it mean for you and your family? So I want each of you to kind of share what would that mean. So Trina, can you do like roll call and just go down? Okay.
That's what I did. I just stopped the screen sharing so I could see your guys'
Awesome.
faces or phone icons again.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, Tanya, we'll start with you first.
Okay. Obviously, that extra money would be nice. My husband and I are trying to start a family, and if we are able to succeed in that, I would love to be able to someday be maybe even drop down to part-time or something like that.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, Angela.
Wow, I also have a lot of student loans to pay off. And a master's degree in nursing that isn't paying me nearly what they thought or said it would. So, boy, paying that off and then having that little bit more flexibility. My mom was just diagnosed with cancer yesterday, and so being able to help her would be huge. It would be absolutely huge.
Awesome. Thanks, Angela. Stephanie.
I'm excited for the new product and obviously the extra cash too. I know Trina kind of knows my situation, and this whole Pampered Chef thing has kind of been a challenge with my husband and I. So, to have that significant income change and be able to, kind of prove that to him and, help out a little bit more would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Hear ye, hear ye. Kelly. Oh, here. I think I see a chat flash. Hold on. Kelly, pay off that. Go on vacations. Woo, woo. Awesome. Thanks, Kelly. Sarah.
Well, I am I guess not super freshly out of college, about going on 4 years now. So I still have a little bit of debt. And I also do work full-time as a medical lab scientist in pharmaceutical research. I mean, it pays a pretty penny, but it doesn't always pay the monthly bills. So I've always been a go-getter, too. I mean, I'm super goal-oriented. I love planning everything, and I just feel like it'd be a good fit for me. So I signed up to be a consultant 7 days ago. and I already see myself going above and beyond every day.
Awesome. Well, excellent. I think you'll really like that, grabbing the carrot that's in front of you. I like carrots that are in front of me.
Yes.
I
Yes.
How
I have a
shiny
little
it
peanut
is.
butter to that carrot.
I don't care what it is. I just need to have it. Okay. And then Michelle.
My husband and I are just starting to restore my first car, 67 Volkswagen, and so all of my money would go towards that, restoring that.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's a really
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So let's talk about what you have to do to become a director. So if we were around a table, I would have you just shout it out. But since we're not, I'm going to, for clarity purposes, I'm just going to read that. So, or you can hold up your fingers. That would be helpful. How many active consultants on your personal team do you have to have?
5.
Exactly. Yes. Woo!
He's like, because I'm counting them all this month. Let's go.
Yes. So you have to have 5 active consultants on your personal team, plus you have to be active too. So a total of 6 active consultants. And a consultant is considered active when they submit $150. I know that's not even a show, but it's $150 that gets them active in commissionable sales each month. Okay? Doesn't have to be commissionable sales. So you and your team have to sell a total, so all 6 of you have to sell a total of $5,000 with a minimum of $750 coming from your personal sales. Now, Trina, what did I tell you when you were promoting?
I better do at least half that.
Yes, most of it. You better plan on doing most of it.
Yeah, you need to plan on most of it, but if you're not consistently doing at least half, and I mean, there's a piece that comes when you up your show schedule and you get your sales where it needs to, instead of like the panic on the 30th of like, oh my gosh, do you have the sales? Am I going to hit it? Am I going to hit it? When you can be like, hey, I've got it because I took care of it. I mean, obviously your team, it's nice when your team helps you out too, but when you don't have to depend on others because your show schedule, making sure you qualify, it's way less stressful. And then the rest is just gravy.
Yes, and when you're doing that kind of a show schedule, what that means is that you're going to be recruiting and you're going to be increasing your business. So it's really important. So you have to keep in mind that what I just talked about are minimums. That's the base minimum you have to do. It's always better to set your goals above that so that you're not doing that freak out on the 30th of the month kind of thing. We don't want that for you. We want you qualified by the 15th because then you can take a breath and you can concentrate on your team instead of having to concentrate on, oh my gosh, are we ever going to make this?
Yeah.
Okay? So we want to teach you the best practices, not just the minimum squeak by practices, because you're going to be a whole lot happier. And we're going to be cheering you on the whole way. So, so that's important. So, okay. So here's the thought to live by. Leaders never work to minimums. In order to have success in the business and to be a leader others will follow, you should be setting the pace for your team. And it's so true. Trina is stepping up and completely setting the pace for you guys. It is awesome. Rule of thumb you should live by is one that is shared by Doris Christopher and her director team. This was shared forever, and you've probably heard it ad nauseum, but it's so true. 2 shows a week, no matter what. I have heard that for 20 years, and it's true, you guys. If you will do that, you can have anything you want with this business.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's true, isn't that, Trina? True.
I think it's true because before I did this lead program, I didn't do 8 shows a month. Like, I didn't do 2 shows. I mean, I knew that that's what I should do if I wanted to really be up, but it just wasn't something I did. And it was ridiculous how once I went to that formula that I was like, oh my gosh, look, the jewelry followed and the trip followed. And it just suddenly, it was the numbers game. They tell you that because it's a numbers game and they've done the data and they've done the studies. And they say, hey, when we break it all down, that's the magic number to hit. You can do more, obviously, but as long as you do that, it's going to all come out, in the wash or whatever, being able to get you what you want.
Exactly. Now, Trina, is there any way you can get back to sharing that next page, which is our 90 days to director formula for success? page. If not, I can hold it up so they can kind of.
Okay, which one? Down?
90 days. Yeah, go down. Oh, good. You're right there. So go down one more. Okay. You down? Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So it's kind of funky looking. So, okay. So I'm going to, there we go. If you can follow the side, down the side for me, and then I will, I don't know if you can turn that, but okay.
That's what I'm trying to do. Hold on. Did that do it for you?
No, it didn't.
Okay. I just turned my
But
whole
it's
screen.
okay because you can scoot down a little bit and they can see the whole sheet. And they can just, read like this for a minute. Okay. So here we're going to talk about if you have 8 shows booked. Okay, this is the formula. This is the 90-day formula to director. Okay, and now 2 shows a week, no matter what, is going to mean that you actually have to really book something like 10 to 11 shows because we just have cancellations. It's the way the business works. Even doctors and dentists have it. So when you have 8 shows booked for a month, we're going to say you have 2 canceled just because that's just the cancellation reschedule rate, okay? So that's going to give you 6 shows that you actually held. Average guests at a show, 10 people, and that includes the host because you're going to recruit a lot of hosts. Those are your biggest opportunity because they wanted more to see more. That's why they hosted a show. And I think almost all of you guys are either guests or were hosts at a show. So if you do 6 times 10, that's 60 people that you're in front of in 30 days. If you divide that by 3, you're going to have 20. And that's the number of people that are going to take home information when you ask every single person, did you have a good time tonight at the show? And they say yes. And you say, what was it that you really enjoyed? And what is it that might interest you about the business? May we send some information home with you? You have about 20 people. Now remember, you have to ask everybody in order for this formula to work, okay? So you're going to divide the 20 by 3, and that's the number of people that will agree to go ahead and let you chat with them the next day or the day after. 24 hours is the ideal time to get a hold of them, but you can also do 48 if it just doesn't work in you guys' schedule, okay? Or I've even had people have to do further out. But ideally, you want to do 24 hours so that you're capturing that excitement of the show and they're not going home and going, and talking to somebody who just rains on their parade, okay? You want to recapture that excitement and let them try this out. I mean, how can you find out if you like it or you want to do it if you don't try it? So it's just kind of like, when you put something on the table and your kids go, ooh, and you say you have to try at least a bite, they're not going to know unless they try it. So, okay. So 6.6 people agree to the interview, and a third of those, so 2 of them are going to say yes to the business. So if you have 2 personal recruits per month times 3 months, it's going to give you 6 personal recruits. And you divide that by 3, and that gives you 2 indirect recruits. So each one of these, as you can see in the purplish reddish color, each one of these things, 8 shows booked. You have a key skill there that you're working with, booking and prospecting. 6 shows held. You host coach those hostesses to have those shows actually hold, okay? Then number of people you're in front of. Again, it's directly related to host coaching because if you host coach well, she's going to have a great attendance. If you don't host coach, she's most likely, unless she's a superstar, not going to have very good attendance at her show. It is your job to coach her. She has hired you to do a show, and it's your job to help her have a great one. People will take home information. You have actually informed them. You've let them know that there's information to take home. You've let them know about the business during the show. So you've done some informing. And then you've taken it a step further at the checkout, and you're inviting them not just to take the information home, but may I follow up with you? May I follow up so I can answer your questions, so I can, chat with you about this. And then 2 people are actually going to agree to that interview process, answering the questions, and you're going to be able to walk them through that and get them to go ahead and try the business out. Okay? And then when you have indirect recruits, that is where you're coaching those new consultants to have a strong start. Maybe even do fast track. You want to make sure that you're always letting people know what's available to them. It's not your job to decide what works for them. It's your job to give them the information so they can decide what will work for them. Okay? Make sense? Okay. So I'm hearing nothing. Did people drop off on us?
No, I think we're just all reading by the side.
Okay. Okay.
It takes more brain power to read sideways.
So how are Trina and I going to support you? Well, first of all, we want to focus in the next 2 weeks on helping you get bookings, okay? And because you don't have bookings, you're not going to be able to practice what we're going to be doing in this business. So, or in this course. So maybe you're sitting there right in your chair right now and you're thinking, I want to be part of this program, but I do not have enough bookings. So like I said, over the next 2 weeks, we're going to be working with you on that to help you succeed. Okay. So Trina and I will be talking about some different strategies and some different things we'll be doing because this is a virtual, we're doing this virtually. We're probably going to do most of those booking strategies virtually also. Okay. Secondly, we are inviting you to join us in our Director Bound program. Okay. Director Bound for us is going to be a 60-day program. Okay. And it's for those of you who are serious about moving up in the career plan. Our program is based on the 90-day formula. So yes, we're going to do 60 days. And the reason we're condensing it, I'll just totally be honest with you, is because in October, frankly, every single weekend I have is already booked Thursday through Sunday. So, except for the last one, and that's homecoming at OSU. So, I literally am not going to be able to do calls, but I can still work with you guys virtually. So, think of it as if you want to promote in 60 days, there's no reason why you can't promote during our program, but our program is going to be that 60 days of calls. There's 6 calls, but that 2 months, and then that 3rd month, we're going to really work to make sure you guys get that continued promotion. Okay? So that's what we'll be doing there. And so let me talk to you about a little details about the Director program. The Director Bound is a call series. We're going to have 6 calls. Set those dates, and I think I shared them with you, but just in case I didn't share them with you, they start the first Sunday in August, and they go through the last Sunday in September. So we have our first call will kick off on August 7th, so that gives us 2 weeks to get our calendars where they need to be. It's going to be about prospecting and booking away from the shows. Our second call will be booking at the shows, and that will be on the 14th. Our third call will be host coaching, again on the 21st. Our fourth call will be inform and invite. That's going to be on the 28th of August. So we're going to have 4 calls in August. Then we're going to take a break because that next Sunday is Labor Day weekend. And we thought that probably you guys might want to have that with your families. So that's what we're going to have a little break there. Okay, so then our 5th call is the simple interview. And that's going to be done on September 11th. All the calls are on Sunday evenings. All of the calls are at 7 p.m. And so 7 to 8, they're about an hour call. The 6th call will be on the 18th of September. It will be New Consultant Strong Start. And the next call the last call will be our Celebrate call. And we'll be celebrating you guys and what you've done so far and where your goals are at and just working to really share what's going on there. And that'll be on September 25th. Okay? So there are going to be qualifications for actually being in the program. We're kind of styling it a little bit like the LEAD program. And so you're going to need to have 8 shows minimum on your calendar for August, and then as we move on, 8 shows for September and 8 shows for October. So, Trina, you want to tell them just a little bit about the mulligan real quick?
Yes, okay. So we realized, first of all, that for a lot of us is like, whoa, I don't do that right now. Like, that's not what I do. And so we want you to be able to have a